fearless activist continues to speak venom against the failed government of Museveni. Let's watch this.
This is how partial application of the law destroys justice in a country. People no longer know what is right to do, what is wrong to do, what they're supposed to do, if the law is the law, or if the law is the specific wishes of certain people. And then we ask ourselves, by what rules is the country being governed? What exactly are our leaders supposed to do? What's our role to play as citizens in the country? Because one day they are arresting members of NUP for putting on red berets, and the next minute Eddie Kenzo is in a full-blown military attire and he can go about it because he's a regime apologist. One day protesters are demanding for accountability from the government, the next day, and they're arrested, and the next day we are seeing members of the NRM protesting about their grievances, dressed up in their yellow shirts, and they're being guided and led by the police and by the army, and no one is getting arrested at the end of the day.
In this video, she continues to talk about the injustice committed against people who don't support Museveni.
And this is very dangerous because it destroys the very core and the very fabric of what a state is. Because the Constitution helps us to know that these are the people we have put into power. These are the ways we can hold them accountable. This is the role they're supposed to play. But also this is the role as citizens that we are supposed to play in holding these leaders accountable, in building a government that is stable, paying taxes, and all the stuff like that. Not infringing on the rights of others, and protecting public property. But now, when that part of statehood is destroyed, then what is left? Can we still call what is left a state? Can we call what is left of Uganda a working, functioning state at the end of the day? And for me, this is what I find really, really problematic. That when we look at such countries like Uganda, at a global scale, or like look just what happened in Tanzania, the world doesn't fully recognize that it's worse to be in pretentious states that look like things are working, but they are not working, like they are not the Gazas, they are not the Palestines, they are not the Ukraines. So there is no like global eye, watch eye, they are not like the Sudan. People are not really paying attention to them, but these are the Sudans in the waiting. These are the Palestinians in the waiting. And so many times the mistakes we make is we wait for it to reach at the Sudan level, and then we want to try and fix something that we could have fixed in the very beginning. You get? When we start to realize that states are going into places where laws are not upheld, constitutions are not upheld, you're clearly seeing members of these countries demanding for accountability, for justice, for respect of the constitution. But as global bodies, the UN, the World Bank, the IMF, you're still funding these governments, you're still collaborating with these governments, all these other diplomatic entities, like they are closing one eye, you're sending congratulatory messages to a president that has massacred over 3,000 people to just hold that particular seat. And then the next minute when a Sudan happens, you're all over writing messages, asking for people to fund, asking for people to call for accountability from leaders. But you are enabling these systems in the very first place. You're creating environments which allow for countries to get into those particular states. So I want us to start paying attention to countries that are not yet full-blown into arms, that are not having tankers driving on roads, people being shot at every day. But these countries are the Sudans in the waiting. Because if the law cannot be upheld, if the law becomes an individual, if the law becomes the wishes of specific people within the country, then it's inevitable that in a few years to come, that country could become the Palestine of today. It could become the place of lawlessness, because this lawlessness is what breeds some of these humanitarian crises that we see out there in the world.
They arrested Sarah to silence the movement, But they didn't realize another lioness was already waiting,